Today we are touching on a very important research topic. Evidence that natural repigmentation of grey hair can happen has been postulated by scientists at Columbia University. As anecdotal evidence gathers, the initial theory that graying of hair cannot be reversed is slowly being debunked. Also being debunked through several anecdotes in medical literature, but more about that later. So as we all know, grey hair and balding have several social connotations and several remarks in social gatherings. To some, grey hair look quite distinguished. To others, it makes balding look even worse. And there is a third category, like always, which does not care. The first 2 years of this current decade, that is the 20s, has been so replete with events that gave us grey hairs that you can be excused of missing out on one single scientific event that happened in the hair loss research field. And that happened quietly. A development that gives us hope that there is a cure for graying hair. The hope that we can restore those graying hairs back to their original melanin-stained, gorgeous self. And yes, without coloring. So hang on and we'll start. Our life goals and individual perspectives are constantly changing. Everything is dynamic and ever-changing on this planet, and that includes our perceptions and our very existence. So when we get a head full of hair with minoxidil, we now want our tresses to appear darker and not grey, even when all our hair has grayed a long time back. Well, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Scientists of Columbia University have created a computer model that suggests how hair grey with advancing age. With advancing age and also with stressful life events. 323 proteins were isolated that reveal that if a given hair was grey or white or colored blonde, platinum or auburn at any given point of time, this can be detected. 323 proteins were located that reveal that if a given hair was grey, white or colored blonde or auburn or platinum, at any given point in its life, it can be detected. Colored and grey hairs were plucked from participants of the study. History of stress in their lives was correlated with occurrence of evidence of depigmentation and then repigmentation in their life history. The result was astounding and quite revealing that de-stressing events can bring that color back to those melanin-exhausted hair fibers. When history of hair so plucked was matched with history of stress and then history of removal of stress, it was found that some pigmented hairs had actually been grey in the past. They went back to normal during the phase when stress was removed or was low. Well, here are 27 studies in medical literature that discuss medication-induced grey hair repigmentation. Most medicines linked to repigmentation are anti-inflammatory drugs. A lesser number affect melanogenesis. Some are vitamin supplements or act on, till now, obscure mechanisms in the hair pigmentation process. They include various drugs, and they are listed here. You can go through them. A number of drugs which are anti-inflammatory or those which cause melanogenesis, and as I said, certain obscure mechanisms which we do not know. While no one is suggesting any of these for repigmenting your graying hair just yet, the mode of action by which graying can be reversed may be helpful for future research. On the contrary, I have also had patients before who have complained that minoxidil in them caused graying of hair. Well, this is so contradicting, ironical. But then I stumbled upon a hair loss sufferer, a patient of mine, who reported that ever since he had been taking minoxidil, his hair have changed color. And surprisingly, they do not look aging. So I have been keeping my eyes and ears open during follow-ups of all these patients with hair loss who have been on minoxidil, whether topical or oral minoxidil, and saw that unlike patients on oral finasteride, those who grow hair using oral minoxidil do not regrow them in the same color. Well, this finding is an important finding, and it is also mind-boggling. But sometimes I'm critical about what I see, and I also feel that when hair grow back, it looks thicker, shinier and longer with more body to it, more fullness. It may be that since it looks fuller and thicker and healthier, it also appears darker. I have also noted that hair reverts to becoming thinner and at the same time lighter when one stops using minoxidil, and hair color starts to look like its original self before starting minoxidil. Well, hair graying is a complex process regulated by multiple intrinsic and extrinsic factors, with treatment options for hair repigmentation currently being investigated. In this talk, I sought to identify medications which have been linked to gray hair repigmentation in medical literature to further delineate potential targets of hair repigmentation therapy. As evidenced by many cases of reversal of graying hair, howsoever anecdotal, the onset of graying of hair may not be an irreversible process. The implications of hair repigmentation are noteworthy in improving the quality of life of a significant number of patients. While there are over 130 reported cases of hair repigmentation, it is noteworthy and fair to state here that many of these medications have been in use for several years, several decades, and by millions of patients, and only a small minority of patients have experienced this repigmentation. This may also be due to lack of patient reporting, but might more likely be due to the complex nature of hair follicle pigment regulation, which highlights that targeting one mechanism may not be enough to manipulate the process. As evidenced by many anecdotes of hair repigmentation in medical literature, I think my earlier belief that graying of hair cannot be reversed stands debunked. But the challenge to us today that many of these cases may be merely anecdotal and that this result may not be reproducible. Well, thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, let me know. And if you have any question for me regarding hair, hair growth, hair regrowth, hair loss, or hair transplantation, I'm always there to help you. Just drop a question in the comment section below and I'll answer you the soonest. God bless you.